So 80 sheets is a lot to walk upstairs, 3/4 material of anything. So I was able to call my neighbor. I call him King of the Mountain. He's got a big king-size tractor. So he came down to help us, and we kind of rigged something up, and we were able to get, I think it was 8 or 10 sheets up at a time, and we offloaded from there. But that was a lifesaver, and really appreciate my neighbor just going over the top to make that happen. Really appreciate it. So show some love to your neighbors. They can always come in handy. We've learned a lot of good things over the years from our neighbors, tools and methods, and just a lot of good things. So treat your neighbors with some love, right? You may be asking why so many sheets, and that's because this whole thing in the second level, we want every possible square foot of real estate to be able to be used for living. And so henceforth, the big beefy I-joist and the big beefy floor, we want this whole space to be able to be used for whatever we want. If it's bedrooms, bathrooms, living space up here, we want it to be essentially a blank slate. And so that's why we did 3/4 everywhere. I mean, it is on every corner of the second floor. Probably the most important thing for us when we were installing this flooring is the prep work for the underneath floor joist. The most important part is that they are on center, however you need them to be on center. If it's 12-inch on center, 16 on center, or even 24 on center, to make sure that those joists are centered up, because if they're not, you're gonna have to do waste a ton of time trimming them, cutting them to fit, and it will take forever to get these subfloor panels down if things aren't on center. Most of ours were 24-inch on center. We had a small section above the living room that we needed to do 12 inches on center for additional support. And for the most part, everything lined up. You know, we were real particular when we were laying out the I-joists, making sure they were on center. It's really important for them to be on center because all of their ends, all their short ends of the sheets have to share on a joist, right? They have to have some kind of ledge to fall on. And so that's where it's really important, because you got to have 2 ends of panels land on center on these joists. So that's kind of why it's really important. So a few installation practices that we followed. Again, we want this floor to be awesome and to last, you know, a lifetime, and be quiet. You know, that's what most subfloor the companies are constantly after. We've got the quietest floor. You'll never hear a squeak or creak. That's what we wanted. And so everyone suggests to do, if you want the best floor, to glue it and screw it down. You don't have to screw it, they just recommend it. You can nail it, that's completely fine. You don't have to glue it, that's fine too. But we glued it and screwed it just for optimum security. The manufacturer recommends that you do an 1/8 inch all the way around each panel of spacing to allow for expansion, contraction with the elements, right? So you try to do that. And you can check in the video of how we actually installed each panel one by one. And I went and watched a bunch of videos of contractors doing it and see how they were picking up efficiencies and the direction they started in, and just how they did things, and that helped out a lot. You know, with any tongue and groove, with seams jogging, overlapping, you want to be straight. You don't want to have to constantly be course correcting, or, you know, one starts to slowly drift off, because it becomes a nightmare and it will slow you down so much. We had to do a little bit of trimming, but really, if you can like pop a string line all the way across the job and follow that line that you know is straight, it'll make for all the other panels just to click in real easy, and you can really boogie and get some work done. The particular subfloor material we chose to go with was
Huber Blue Plus. From what I understand, it's the next tier down from the real popular Advantech. If you're anything like me, I've kind of studied up on some of this stuff and watched other professional builders, and everybody and their brother uses the Advantech. The Advantech name is everywhere. It's got this real long no sand warranty, and we'll talk about what that means in a second. It's supposed to be this great product, which I believe it is, but it also comes with a great price tag. And so the vendor we were using suggested this. Funny enough, it's made by the same company, Huber. Huber makes both materials. And when I was researching the Blue Plus, which we have, they were telling me it has a 200-day no sand guarantee. And I thought that was what Advantech has. And I think that's what they used to have. And so they extended it. So I think Huber are doing the whole General Motors scheme of Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, but they're really the same vehicle, just a little bit different, but a big price difference, right? If I had to guess, that's probably what they're doing. But it seemed like it was a good product for a little bit cheaper for us. So the 200-day no sand guarantee is pretty much states that it can be out if it's installed properly, it can be out in the weather for 200 days. And it shouldn't swell up on the ends. Not even meaning if it does swell up, or if you go past 200 days, that it's ruined or anything. You're going to have to come back and use a floor sander and get things back flattened out for your flooring, because obviously you can't do flooring with a bunch of swelled up seams. It's a lot of square footage up here. It was pretty expensive in material, but again, I think it's going to prove to be really useful when we go to out of bedroom or need more storage space, or we just don't have to worry about the floor. It's solid. It should be quiet. Guys, that's the flooring video. Appreciate you guys following along. Next up is going to be we're going up. We're doing ceiling rafters, second level walls and rafters. And we need to get this covered up so we can get on finishing this beast up. But appreciate you guys watching. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Help us out. And man, we look forward to watching with you on the next video. See you guys.